Hey guys, so today is December 8th, 2020. Let's start out like we do every morning with our morning meeting. Dear students, I love this time of year. Thank you guys for working so hard last week. Your reindeer stories made me smile. Today, we will talk about how to write a letter. You will write the first draft of your friendly letter to Santa. I hope you have a wonderful Tuesday. Love, Mrs. Ford. All right, now you read it with me. Dear students, I love this time of year. Thank you guys for working so hard last week. Your reindeer stories made me smile. Today, we will talk about how to write a letter. You will write the first draft of your friendly letter to Santa. I hope you have a wonderful Tuesday. Love, Mrs. Ford. Now, if you remember yesterday, we talked about the parts of a letter: the heading, the greeting, the body, the closing, and the signature. Today, we're going to talk a little bit more about those parts. But let's go sing our song about the pieces of a letter. See if you can remember all the parts. Here we go. Heading, greeting, body, closing, signature. Heading, greeting, body, closing, signature. This is how we write a letter. Heading, greeting, body, closing, signature. Good job. Can you point to where the heading is? Good. Now point to the greeting. How about the closing? And the signature? Where's the body? Good job. Now, today we're actually going to take a really deep look at what this greeting is. Now, greeting just means saying hi. And in letter form, we do it by using a term of endearment and their name. Now, if you don't know the person very well, calling them dear or friend might be a little strange. So you got to think, what is your relationship with the person that you're writing the letter to? If you're writing to your grandma, you definitely want to put dear, or you could even use a different greeting. So let's look at some of the options for our greetings. Now, when we open a letter, we open it by saying the greeting word and then their name and a comma. Do you see this little guy? That's called a comma. So some greeting words are like this. Now, these are not the only ones, but these are some good choices for you to use with your letter to Santa. Dear, hello, hi, howdy, my friend. So remember, we would use the greeting word and their name. That's why I put that blank there to remind you. Their name and a comma. So if we were writing to Santa, this is what it would sound like. Dear Santa, comma. Hello, Santa, comma. Hi, Santa, comma. Howdy, Santa, comma. My friend, Santa, comma. Now, do you see how this would almost be like how we would walk up to them in the hallway? If you see your friend, what would you say? Hi, Amy, how are you? Did you hear how I opened or greeted them? That's the greeting. So these are the opening words that we can use. These are some of the closing words. So let's go back and look at what the closing is. So I've asked you to point here. Closing. What does it say beside it? Your friend. This is the way you say goodbye in a letter. That's all we're doing is saying goodbye. So here are some ways that you can say goodbye in your letter. Love, comma, sincerely, comma, yours truly, comma, hugs, comma, or fondly, comma. Now, there are more, just like with our openings, but these are just some good, easy choices for your letter to Santa. Now, again, they change with who you're talking to. I almost always use love when I'm ending my letters to y'all because that's how I feel about y'all and I know y'all well. If you don't know the person really well, sincerely is a really good way to end a letter. It just means that you mean what you say. I mean it. Bye. Yours truly means that you really feel strongly about it, right? Hugs. Again, would you put hugs on a letter to somebody that you didn't know, that you wouldn't hug in real life? So these are things that you would really do. And if you met this person in real life, would you hug them? Maybe not. Maybe Santa we would. But if you were writing a letter to someone you didn't know that well, would you end it with hugs? No, I don't think so. And fondly just means that you're wishing them well. So these are things that we can open and close our letter with. Let's go back to my letter up here. Dear students. What word did I use for my opening or my greeting? Dear. Where's the comma? After students. This is who you're writing the letter to. Dear students. Who am I writing my letter to? Y'all. Where's my closing? Here it is. Love, Mrs. Ford. What was my closing? It was love. So you get to make that choice as you're starting to write your letter to Santa today. Now, that is our next step. We are going to write our letter to Santa. So I'm going to go ahead and give you instructions here, but you are actually going to submit it in the assignment below. This is our checklist. This is how we're going to write our letter with Santa. Now, parents, I have included this PowerPoint in with the assignment so that you can actually do the check marks and check these off. If you want to add a empty file down here and y'all want to write it right on your computer, absolutely, this is a great place to do that. But if you want to handwrite it, which is what I am encouraging you to do, I want you to handwrite it on a piece of paper, then you're going to need to take a picture and send it in. So let's go over how you are going to actually write this letter. The first thing you're going to do is write the heading. The heading, that's just the date. You know how to write the date. So at the very top of the page, let's look back at mine. Mine is right here. So stop right now, pause my video, write the heading. Are you back? Okay, great. So you can go ahead and give that one a check mark off. Heading's done. Now we're going to choose our greeting word. Remember, this is how we say hello. What word are you going to use? Just the words in the red. So you can choose one of these words in the red, write it with Santa's name, and you can write him Santa Claus, or you can just write Dear Santa, and make sure you put a comma. Go, choose one right now and write it down. You back? Okay, good. Now, when we get into our body of our letter, I want you to be very specific in how we're going to write this. So I've got one sentence that is all about Santa or Christmas. Now, I'm actually going to write a letter down here and show you what I mean when I say one word about Santa or Christmas. So I'm going to insert a text box, and this will be exactly what you do if you write it in here. Okay. Now, if you write it in here, please save it in Word too, because I may not be able to give this back to you. Now, today is December 8th, 2020, right? So there's my, what was that? You got it. Good. My heading. Okay, so I've got my heading on here. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger so that y'all can see it, because goodness, it's small. Whoop, too big. Okay, so now I've got my heading. Here is my opening. I'm going to use Dear Santa. Now, we said the first thing we're going to write in our letter is one sentence about Christmas or Santa, just how you feel. So, I think I'm going to write, I love Christmas time in Snyder. So that's one sentence about Christmas. Now, could you write something else? I love you, Santa. Something along those lines. Something about Santa and Christmas. Now, that's one sentence. The next one says, one sentence to thank him for the gifts from last year. So we're gonna start that sentence with this. Thank you. Now, if you can remember exactly what Santa brought you last year, put it in here. Thank you for the PJs and new keyboard. You, what did I do? Oh, that's a one word, keyboard. It's a compound word, isn't it? You brought me last year. Okay, so now I've got two sentences, one about Christmas, one thanking him before I ever ask for anything. Okay, now what's next? We've done these three. One sentence to thank him for the gifts. Now we've got to do this one. Ask politely for your Christmas wishes. How do you ask politely for things when you ask your mom in the store? You don't just say, hey, give me cereal, Mom. You say, Mom, please, may I have some cereal? We're going to ask Santa the same way, in a nice, polite way. Okay, so let's do it. This year, I would really like a new wireless mouse. Because I really thought about it. In my list, I need things to help me teach online. So I really narrowed down my list. I'm only going to ask for one thing. Now, yesterday I told you to make a list of 3 things. So if you would like to ask for 3 things, here's how you're going to do it. This year I would like a wireless mouse, comma, a new book, comma, and a phone holder. Do you see how there's 3 things there? Now, when I write them, I separate them with a comma. Now, parents, they may not know how to do that or do that correctly, and that's okay. That's not a skill that's required in first grade, but I wanted to teach them that. So now we've asked, and then one sentence to wish Santa well. Okay? One sentence to wish Santa well. What does that look like? Means, I hope you have a great Christmas. I hope you're safe when you ride. I hope, or I'm wishing, or I'm thinking about you during this holiday time. Okay? So I think I'm going to say, I hope you have a safe ride this Christmas Eve. Why did I capitalize Christmas Eve? Because it's the name of a holiday. I hope you have a safe ride this Christmas Eve. Now it's time for my closing. Okay? Now, I have to capitalize my closing. So I'm going to look through. Now, I don't know that I want to end it with love, because I don't know that that would be a correct response for Santa, but I think this one, sincerely, would be a really good closing. You can choose whichever one you want. Sincerely, Mrs. Ford. Okay, I spelled that wrong, but it corrected me. Now, I've got my basic letter here, right? I've got all the pieces. Now, your job right now is to make sure you've got all the pieces. You've got your opening, your heading, your greeting, your body, your closing, and your signature. If you have all of those things, awesome. You are good to go. You can take a picture and upload it in the My Documents section. If you don't have this, you need to stop the video, rewind, and write it as we go so you're reminded of how to write this letter. Again, parents, these things are attached and you can physically go and look at them. You can write it in here, but make sure that you save it somewhere else as well. Once you get that done, so I've already done my signature, make sure that you put a comma after your closing, so there's sincerely, comma, Mrs. Ford. Okay? Then, is this the only letter you can write? Are these the only things you can include? No. If you want to ask him a question, ask him one in the body. Where would you put it? Maybe after thanking him for what he brought last year, you could write a question in there. How are the reindeer? Do you have a favorite cookie? How do you get around the world? Things like that can go right there. Now, Tomorrow, we're going to go through and really read and dissect this and make sure that it is perfect and ready to go. So, if you want to add those things, today's a great time to do it, or we can add it tomorrow before we get to our final draft, okay? All right, guys, I cannot wait to see your letters. I think letters are really fun to write. I'll see you guys later. Bye.